frontier.
Hello and welcome to a very different episode of Wrestling Daft. 1 year ago we tragically lost one of the greatest Scottish wrestlers to ever grace the ring, Adrian Lionheart McCallum. This week we want to celebrate his life and what he did over his career in the company of some of the guys who know him best. So we get Jack Jester here joining us. We get Big Wolfgang joining us, friends of the show. They've been on the show before. And of course we've got our very own Grado here in the room.
How you doing, Rab?
Not in the same room as me. We're all distant. Aye, so everybody, this is Lionheart.
Comes to being an all-round performer and everything that this business is about, I am unfucking touchable.
Lionheart is a funny. Liam Thompson has failed his degree.
I see you brought some friends with you. Well, I see fucking W. Lionheart brought some pals of his own.
What? Lionheart's brought some pals of his own. Holy shit! It's the Stars of Still game!
And if people want to swear at me, if people want to boo me, if people want to chant Lionheart as a fanny, then that is perfectly okay, just as it always was. But if for some strange and wonderful reason you want to cheer me and call me a hero, then that's okay as well.
You see you, right, when I first came here 4 years ago, you just had to come back from your neck injury and you flopped. You know, you were rock bottom. Dallas didn't want you, the boys were laughing at you, and the fans didn't give a shit about you. What do? You picked yourself up, and now Dallas leads you. You're a leader to all the boys, and the fans love you. They need Lionheart. Look at me. Look at me, hey? You can sit here feeling sorry for yourself. You can do something about it. You can either be a fanny, or you be a hero.
Is this it? The final moment? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Are we gonna see it? I'm with it! 1, 2, 3!
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner and new ICW World Heavyweight Champion, Lionheart!
And in the books it's gonna read World Heavyweight Champion!
Guys, let's just start with the basics here. When do you first remember meeting Adrian?
So I think I might have met him first. So Grado and I both started in the same place, but he left before I got there, and I was there a few years before Jester got there. But in between there, Lionheart showed up with his pal called Rab, and he
Good name, strong name.
So strong, he had it tattooed just above his belly button, Rab. And I think it was just like kind of going to come with me so I can go to this class, because I was the same when I first went. I always had a pal, like a cousin that I would take with me that I would used to wrestle at the back or on my ma's couch with, and I had to have somebody there with me. But once I got there, I met everybody, and Adrian was one of the people we met, and he used to drive through for air, and eventually Rab disappeared, but he would drive through for air every time to wrestle on these judo mats. And Grado's already told you on this show before what this post office was like. It was just like thin judo mats on a hard flare, and we were throwing each other about on these, but we absolutely loved it. We went there every week. Eventually, like right away, Lionheart was Lionheart. You could see it coming through. He was always a massive character, Like, as soon as you met this guy, you didn't forget him. You knew he's one of the guys that you knew he'd done something. You can't just be like that and just be a normal person. He had to do something, and what he wanted to do was become a professional wrestler. Where do you want me to go with that?
We're just going one at a time.
Aye. What about you, Jester? How do you remember meeting him?
I don't remember specifically when I met him because, like Barry was saying, they all started before me. I missed the post office days, which I'm quite glad about. And then we ended up in an industrial estate in the arse end of Canvas Line. And it was just this bogging, banky place. It used to snow inside and all that. I'm not joking, it was horrid. So we were down there, and he wasn't there at the time. I remember the faces that I first saw, but I think Adrian had kind of left and he'd taken a wee bit of a break at this point. So I never had the pleasure of meeting Rab. But
Rab,
sorry, was this Glacier? Was this Glacier?
I don't. It might have been Glacier. Like Rab, Adrian had his first match the same day that I had my first match proper, and he was in a 6-man match, and his tag team partner was Rab, and I think Red Lightning was in that same match. He would have been maybe against him or tagging with him, but Rab was well gone before Lee showed up.
I don't remember him at all. But it's one of the ones that he wasn't there when I started, and I don't really remember when he came back. I don't remember ever training with Adrian. You know what I mean? I don't.
Aye.
I think maybe he popped in and popped out, but like I remember training with Andy and Barry, and I remember training with like obviously like BT and stuff at a different school. I remember that vividly, but I don't remember ever doing much training with Adrian. But I just know that when I finally did meet him, whenever that was, we just didn't like each other at all.
No, you didn't right away.
That was common.
I just didn't like him.
That was common for meeting Adrian.
I don't think I've ever introduced somebody to Adrian and had to explain him. You know, like it's always like my mate's Adrian. Listen, he's actually a nice guy. You know what I mean? That guy was a bit no. You need to know. But see, once you know him for 4 or 5 years, he's all right.
Because he was always playing the part. It was always Adrian. He was always all right player. Like it was. That was him. Like
you couldn't tell when he was on and when he was off. But then it took you a long time to recognise the difference. You know what I mean? But we just didn't see eye to eye because he was always Lionheart. And I didn't like Lionheart.
Well, nobody did as much as Adrian did.
No, he loved him. He was his biggest fan, man. Oh God.
It was great. The way he carried himself, like in and outside the ring, was just Lionheart. But he eventually learned to disconnect the two, so that like you could know Lionheart and you could be pals with him, but then there was the Lionheart side to him that everybody else got to see, and that was hard for him in the beginning when he was developing his character, because like everybody else, like your character's just an extension of you, and that's all Lionheart was. The yin yangs and the dragon tattoos, that was him.
Because I remember when we were booking Oran War that first time and kind of just deciding who to get on the show and stuff like that, and I was obviously very familiar with a lot of the people that had came kind of through, like people that were kind of involved in SWA and were adjacent to that kind of world as well, like BCW and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I kind of remember seeing, I think the first time I saw Lionheart wrestle was at an SWA show that I was filming, actually. It was the first time I actually saw him wrestle. But I remember when we were booking that, I was thinking, well, you know, what about this Lionheart? And I can't remember who it was that said to me. It was somebody that said to me, it was like, Lionheart's really good, you need to book him, you need to get him. But listen, by the way, if he was chocolate, he'd fucking eat himself. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I was warned in advance.
Perfect description.
My soon-to-be mother-in-law refers to all our pals as different things, and Adrian Lionheart was referred to as chocolate. It was, how's chocolate doing? That was for the first meeting.
Which is brilliant though, because I'm always talking on this show, and Grado, I'm always saying, listen, I want wrestlers to be full of themselves.
Aye.
When we're doing interviews with people, and quite often we do interviews with wrestlers and they're actually quite modest and nice and stuff like that, and it's good to talk to a wrestler who like believes their own hype, and you know what I mean? I like that.
Adrian's idol was The Rock. And you
Aye.
could see that just by watching
it's
one of
true,
his
though.
matches, and it's how he carried himself. Like, one time, Red Lightning dressed up as Adrian, and this was around about 2004 or 5, like very early on in all of our careers. And Adrian was out in the ring, and Red Lightning was coming out with Boddington, but he was completely done up like Adrian. He had all his gear on, he had the sunglasses, but he got a wee bit of tape and he put the Rock's eyebrow on, and he just kept walking about. And, you know, he would always. There's a certain way that he moved that only him and the Rock are the only two that could do it.
It's funny because the first time I met Adrian, right, obviously, as I said, we were in different schools for one another. But he must have been training at this point. And obviously, I was at SWA, right? But I still went to the BCW shows, right? Because I'm not missing Honky Tonk Man in Kilmarnock. I'm not missing Marty Jannetty, Carl Town Hall, right? I wasn't missing that. And the first, because I remember when I first seen him online, I thought, that guy sat behind me at Kilmarnock Grand Hall, and I'll never forget it. I can see him right now. He was wearing a vest, the 2-striped trackies, the Rock sunglasses, and an Intercontinental replica belt. Just sitting, just doing all that fucking posturing like the Rock, sitting behind, hinky, mega cool, man. I'm going, check this guy. And chocolate, totally chocolate, just sitting there going, check me, man, with my belt and my sunglasses and my vest, man. And that's my very first memory. And obviously, right away, I'm going, check this, Dafty.
But see that, right, what you're saying, because obviously he was full of himself and he was dead proud and all that, but there's a photograph, and I can't even, I'll find it. There's a photograph of me in one of my early matches, and Adrian sitting, it was in East Kilbride, and Adrian sitting in the front row with a big silver Jester sign. And he hated the fact that I had it. He hated it, because like, he was mortified that I thought it knew, and I'm going, mind you, that big Jester sign at East Kilbride. I've got it. And you couldn't miss him because he was wearing like a black and white checkered hoodie. I've got that photo. Nah, I don't want to talk about it. But it's funny that Louise's man refers to him as chocolate, because that is Lion Bar. Lion Bar.
He would have definitely put that in a t-shirt. He would have cashed in on that, no bother. with him as the big lion with a big mane just like that. You know he would.
Oh man,
hilarious. What was he like backstage, like in the locker room? You know what I mean? Because obviously he was one of the most kind of significant figures on the scene. You know what I mean? So what was he like in the locker room?
He was, and a wee inside term for you, but he was a bit of a locker room leader in the fact that everybody looked up to him and they could go to him and they work things out. And Adrian knew that he had dealt with stuff in the past, and he would always be the first to approach anybody that he would see was struggling and lend them a hand and bring them aside and talk them up or whatever it was needed. He was always the guy that they could talk to in confidence or whatever. And he was always a wind-up merchant. Like, I developed a catchphrase, "What's that for?" just so that I could wind him up, because he used to, well, Jester Tay and Grado Tay probably, they just converse in strictly still game quotes.
Aye,
and
he loves that.
He would never go a day without a still game quote coming out, and he would like, "I will not be paying for headphones," and then I would go, "What's that for?"
What's that for?
And he would go, "That's still game." But he would eventually clock on that he was doing the still game stuff so often that I was having to do the same thing over and over again.
He had a photographic memory of every quote for that show. So when we were flying to Magaluf, and Shug the Lug was like 2 seats in front of us, and he was freaking out. I was more impressed that Shug for Still Game was going to Magaluf. But he was like that, as if Beyonce just walked into the plane. He was freaking out, man. He's going, do not embarrass us. He's going, and I went, "Do not shout. I will not be paying for headphones when there's a guy for Still Game on this plane." And then
he must be sitting there like that,
sweating for 4 hours. "Oh, I need to say it. But then that time, I've spoken about it before, in Benidorm, we were all waiting to go out. We were sitting around the pool was all shut, but it was dark. We were sitting, and there was a bunch of lassies that had been in the pool that day, and she sat down, and me and him had a full conversation with her, using nothing but Still Game quotes. And she had no idea what was going on, but Sean McLaughlin was so impressed, because she's gone, "So what do you do normally?" And I'm going, "I'm a businessman." And then we just went straight into the and then Sean's waiting, and then we went, "What is it he's doing?" We're like, beetroot. Fucking he's like, but we spent about 40 minutes just talking to her using still game quotes, and it was like one of his proudest achievements. Like he spoke about it constantly. He's like, mate, we were stars there. We were absolute stars.
It was such a laugh. He was always encouraging everybody to enjoy themselves backstage. He never took anything too serious, unless it was his own Pro Wrestling Elite shows. You couldn't get a minute with him.
The suit. Remember the suits he would do to doll himself up for his own shows, man. But I mean, he wore suits. I think he was one of the first. Did he wear suits through the years as well? Or was it just for his...
ultimate professional? Like he always looked smart. He always looked like professional. Like he always took himself serious in that respect, and he always wanted to go further in the business. So he was always respectable, and any opportunity he got to, he would speak to people and try and socialise, network with people, and just get to names. He would love to talk the business with people and learn about it, and ultimately progress in it.
He was definitely one of the guys who thrived on the being around the boys and being backstage and the social aspect. He wasn't a show up and go home guy. You know, he was even though he lived in Ayr, like he would always come up and he would stay in Glasgow, or he would, after his shows, we would all go back, and like that was important to him. If he had flown people up for the elite shows, we all stayed at his house, and we would sit up, or we would go to the club and then come back. And they were like some of the best, even like backstage as well. Even at his end shows, he always had that kind of that front on, like I'm the boss tonight, remember. But at the same time, you could tell that he secretly loved it when you maybe got him in the ring spontaneously, or you know what I mean. Me and Shy used to do it all the time, like because he would always warn us, don't spill beer on my apron or my canvas. But then you got him in, and it was alright for him, you know what I mean. He started you know what I mean. But the thing with Adrian is just constantly. He's famous for his style, right? And not so much in a good way, right? Because we always like Adrian was like a guy who he dressed far too old. Like, you know, he loved these Skechers, for example. His slip-on Skechers trainers, beige slacks, white sports socks, brown shoes.
Well, here's a thing. I mean, this is definitely the case, because I remember one of the first thoughts I had about Adrian was like, what age is this guy? Like, because he would walk about, because he was like, you know, he was way used guys, right? He was way used guys. He was part of yous. But then you would look at him and you would think to yourself, this guy walks about like he's a veteran, like he's like get 10 years on the rest of these boys.
I war veteran. And it's not even just that. He was an old soul, right? So
he was an old soul.
Forget about
a cup of tea and a biscuit. That's
right. He was proper, and he would do all these. I've seen him sitting just eating 6 scones in a row, right? That's impressive for me. But we were at one time, there's been a couple of times we had a meeting. We had a GPWA meeting in a pub in the town. I don't remember what one it was. And we were all sitting, I'll have this, I'll have that. And Adrian's like, he's asking all these questions, like, I'll have the full English breakfast, please. Tea, strong, with a side of naan bread, please. A side of naan bread with your breakfast. Aye. And then do you mind the time we were on the road? And
toast?
Aye. Toast? He goes, do you do such a thing as toast? The woman's like that. No, he's like, okay, in that case, I'll have the rice pudding, please. Warm. I'll have the rice pudding, please. Warm. They're like, are you doing this to Poppers? Have you ordered rice pudding?
No, I think he was being serious.
We're all getting Calvary's and all that. You know what I mean?
It's just how he spoke. He just spoke different. Like he did. It was weird. And he came from where did he come from? Cumnock. So away down Ayrshire way, it was just this wee middle of nowhere town, and how he came out of there.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That blows my mind. Because he's not even got that mega Ayrshire accent. It's not like that. It's something completely different. Because you listen to his mom and his father, and they're proper.
Oh, they're proper.
I mean, you get a riot listening to them, listening when they talk. I'm going down the bonk and all that, Kieran. And just at my bull. When he's wrestling in my bull again. Care what I mean? Hey, bull, my bull.
I love him.
But his mom and dad are the funniest. I love company, right? Because they've been married for years.
Can you tell the story? I loved when you told it about when you broke down and she come down and all that. She come down to pick it up.
Mate, right, that was hilarious. This was years ago. We're driving down to like WZW or something. We're in Newcastle way. So we're going down. This has happened twice, right? The twice that Adrian had driven me to that company in the same place. The first time his window wipers broke. So he just did this the whole way when he was driving, right? I mean, like, honestly, with like 3 years, I've just gone like that.
Terrible driver.
Oh, it's so many.
In his early days.
Do you mind when he hit the cow?
I was going to tell this story after.
Right, I'll leave that for you. But we're on the way down to WCW, and his motor's broke down. So I've never met his parents at this point, right? But it's always a surprise when you first meet his parents, because his parents they're old.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're an old couple. And he's going, we need to come down. But honestly, you would have thought that Adrian had deliberately smashed his motor up just to get them off the couch that night. So they've drove all the way down. And she's going, aye, this is all I need on a Saturday night. What are you doing here? Get me out of my jammies when you phone me. And his dad's going, but just that pure old couple where his dad's constantly hitting one-liners, man. He's so funny. You leave his house with a sore face, and she's just like that the whole time. It's like, so then we've stopped, and she's like, aye, I haven't had my dinner either. We'll be stopping somewhere on the way home, so put into a service station. And he's going, Mum, I'll buy you dinner. Aye, you'll buy the dinner. Aye, you'll buy the. So she was just giving him a hard time. I'm in the back seat sitting beside him. She stared at him through the mirror the whole time. I'm mega uncomfortable, right? Never met these people before, and I've got like 3 hours till I get home. And then we've stopped at the service station. Oh, this woman went bush, man. She could not fathom the prices of a service station. Because she's going, I'll just have a sausage roll. She's going, what? She's getting off. She's going, £4.50 for a sausage. I could get about 8 bags for farm fish for that. I'm not paying that, but you're hungry. I am hungry, but there's no way on earth I'm paying £4. And he's going, Ma, please, like my pals here, you're embarrassing me. Everybody's I'll buy it. Get your money back in your pocket. We're leaving. I'm starving. I knew I'm frightened to buy something in case she gets me into trouble. Mate, it was bonkers, but she's hilarious. And his dad is just a joy.
Gent,
every time I ask him what it is, he says, every time I ask him, I go, how you been? He goes, fair to hellish. Fair to hellish.
Oh, man, I can sit and listen to his man feather all day talking because I love all that stuff.
That's nice. That's nice perfume you've got on.
He did just have a way about him, didn't he? He had that thing about him where it was almost like see a wrestler isn't beneath anybody. A wrestler is like, if a wrestler walks into a room, a wrestler is a top guy in the room. Because even you're talking about him being a big fan of Still Game and stuff like that. I can remember Adrian meeting Greg for the first time and stuff like that, and he wouldn't conduct himself like he was a massive fan or anything like that about Greg. He would, you know what I mean? He would carry himself like a proud...
You should have seen him when he met Isa. Isa came to East Kilbride one time for BCW.
That's when the facade dropped.
Aye, then he got very excited. We loved it. We all got a big group photo and that. But
she is a lovely woman. She is a lovely woman.
Backstage.
Yes, she's a very, very lovely woman.
This is off at a complete tangent, right? But I need to tell you this. But when Jane McCarry was in our pilot, The Sunny, do you remember, Grado? Do you remember what I did to Jane McCarry on the first day of filming?
No.
Jane McCarry went to the toilet on the first day of filming in the location we're filming in. I didn't know she was in there, and I went walking right into the toilet while Jane McCarry was in there. Well. Tights down, and so that was, you know what I mean? That altered things.
I didn't know that.
Jesus. That altered things. Know what you do in the first day of shit.
That's
so listen, there's always a lot of talk about. I want to just how good a wrestler was he? Let's dig into the wrestling now. How good a wrestler was he?
So, any like.
Well, I just want to say that I remember. I know you're going to ask about favourite matches and stuff like that, right? But I swear to God, I firmly believe one of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen in my life, and I'm talking even better than Undertaker and HBK and all this, was at your show. See, Oran War. Him versus Noam Dar. I mean, that was. I think because I had just came back wrestling, and for obviously, everybody had got fucking 10 times better all the years, right? But then watching that match, I thought because I always had that slight feeling in my head like he's not as good as what they make out, right? That's what I thought about him. And I saw that match, man, and I was blown away about how good it was. I mean, it went on for about 50 minutes.
They really stepped up on that night. I mean, it was, and this is what anybody that ever mentions Oran War to me talks about their match. You know what I mean?
And I don't think it was recorded, was it? I think they filmed it in a fucking...
But listen, I remember saying before that event happened, I don't want to film it.
That's right.
No, I agree with you. Let's not film it. Because basically the whole idea with doing the shows was you need to come out and see these boys wrestle live. You know what I mean? You got to come to the live shows. You know what I mean? And I think it says something for it, the fact that people talk about that match. I think it's partly the mystique of that match is the fact that it wasn't recorded, it wasn't filmed. You know what I mean? To let people recollect and they kind of go, God, that was an amazing match. But I think it really did. You know, I mean, even for me, it completely surpassed anything I expected for they two. You know what I mean? And I can't see it was like somebody suggested it to us as well. I remember when we were booking the Hangman, but somebody suggested it to us, and I remember it's good that you are here actually, like, because I'm pretty sure somebody suggested it to us that match. You just stick Adrian and Noam in together. You know what I mean? I can't remember who it was. I wish I could remember.
Like, I've got different memories about the Oran War. After my match, somebody came up to me backstage and says, "Oh, you were Grado, weren't you?"
Yeah, by the way, that the Oran War was the first time
meeting Toll.
Right. So you know the wee spiral staircase that takes you down. So me and Grado were sitting, and Toll's came swag. You know, Toll's like pure bold as brass. So we didn't know anything at this point, and he's came out and he first to come back. He's like, "Grado, how you doing, mate? Great match." Grado was like, "All right, big man," and then went, "Fuck." He's like, "Did I just say that?" At the time we didn't know. He's like, "Big man, how you doing?" And that was the same night as well. You were going through. Were you wrestling Mossy that night, Grado?
Aye, Mossy, aye.
Grado's going through it. Aye, because he's gone, it's all this, and Mossy's gone, aye, sure. So Grado's literally practicing everything.
Every move, mate. I'm doing everything backstage.
So he's done the full entrance backstage. He's going, I'll come in, I'll go. And Mossy's stunned and going, hurry up, man. So he's going, right, so I'm like, boom, boom, boom. And then you throw one. Mossy's went, aye, cool. And he went, I'll poke you, aye. And he went, bang, and I swear, his finger at Mossy's eye socket up to the second knuckle, man. Boof! And he's like, I'm sorry, he's gone, fuck!
Johnny Moss is the right person. You don't want to poke Johnny Moss. If you look around our locker room, there's one guy that looks like ultimate superstar. This
literally
guy
ripped me in half.
The Gladiators. Like, you don't want to poke this guy in the eye.
You can tell Mossy's just gone, I've drove all the way up here to wrestle this guy, and he's just poked me in the eye before the match.
No, he's good.
Mossy's the sweetest guy though. Like he was like through the two shows, he was the most supportive guy. And I remember booking him on the Oran War, and I remember I'm going to connect this to Lionheart in a minute, but I remember booking him on Oran War and being a bit feared of Mossy, because I remember like years before, me and Ian Connell had went down to an NWA UK Hammerlock show.
Really?
Because we were trying to develop a wrestling thing for telly, and we went down and to meet Andre Baker and stuff like that. And fucking Mossy was there. Mossy was there in the locker room at that show in some wee town down in England, and Mossy was just fucking growling at us, man. Mossy had that vibe about him, like, look at these pair of fucking wee, you know. But this is when he was a young guy, and then he turns up as this just the sweetest guy. Because there was the Oran War match with Lionheart and Noam, which was an amazing match. But I always think about this. I always think about the fact they had that amazing match at Oran War, and then I don't think they weren't happy with their match at Kelvin Brawl. They weren't happy about that.
I remember that
match.
That was because Adrian had left for a wee while.
That was his first match back.
That was his first match back.
He retired?
He retired. I retired him in 2003.
Yep, the retirement, yep.
And he came back, and so was the Kelvin Brawl 2013.
I think so. Aye.
June 2013.
He retired December 2012 and came back June 2013, and he hadn't been in a ring, because at this stage we didn't have the asylum or anywhere you could go and just jump in a ring. So this would have been his first match back against who, as you said before, probably gave him his best match to date with the match at Oran War. So to step back in and expect to go to that level again, just cheating yourself. It's too much pressure on yourself. And they would have went out there expecting to be able to beat that bigger venue, bigger crowd, bigger stage. Let's go out and do better. And it just, unfortunately, it didn't come off the way they'd hoped.
They were trying, but this is the thing, though. This was the thing with Adrian. He was trying to do that. He was trying to top that. He had that kind of pride in himself to kind of go and try and better it, and you know, and it was that thing. It was like they had their time limit, and they had their time, and they went right over it, because Adrian was like, "I'm not coming back until we've turned this match round." You know what I mean?
You talk about how good Adrian was, and for the very beginning, like 2003, we had our first match. I think from 2003 to 2006, it was hard to say anybody was really good, but there was certain people that you would want to work with, because you know they could make a good match. Like, and Adrian Lionheart was one of them for me early days. He's somebody that I could go in with, and he would always do his best to make me look good, and I would compliment him and do my best to make him look good. And there was back then, everybody was just taking this as a hobby, but he was always driven to kind of go forward. So he did always want to get better, but you go in there with some guys who would just be all meat and potatoes, and they've only trained well, and they would just lump you. But when you worked with Lionheart, it was what you imagined, what you wanted to wrestle like. When you watched it in the telly and when you went and trained, these were the types of matches you wanted to be delivering. And Adrian was probably the common denominator in all of that, where he was always the one having the good matches with people.
Because there's definitely a connection I make in my mind between, like, remembering the SWA days, and no harm to the SWA wrestlers.
Guilty!
No harm to you, Grado, right? No harm to the SWA wrestlers, but the DCW boys would come in to an SWA, you know what I mean? It'd be like Wolfgang and Darkside, it'd be Drew, it'd be Lionheart and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And you could see the difference, you know what I mean? You could see the difference, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Jester too.
I
don't remember. Listen, I don't.
I remember Jester's debut in the Battle Royal.
I don't remember seeing you.
I remember Jester's first match. I was in the crowd for it. He was in a Battle Royal and he came out.
I think I might have been away. I would have been away by that point.
Straight into it here.
Oh, aye. In fact,
green and yellow boots.
We never crossed paths, didn't we? No Jester back in the SWA days or anything.
As much as I was there at the same time, like, I wasn't really doing anything on BCW. It wasn't until, because like, I kind of disappeared to go to the camps before I'd really done anything here. So, like, I think it was Andy had went and done the camps, and then on the way back climbed the Welcome to Scotland sign, fell off and broke his ankle.
That was my fault.
And then I had to step in. So then I did the camps. It wasn't until I came back, which was like years later, because I've jumped from there straight to the All-Star. But back then, when like Barry and Adrian and that were having their matches in T2K, and like I was just in security. Like even like the Carluke shows and all that. Yeah. But somebody sent me a video the other day, and it says Greenock charity match.
Oh, was that Spinner's show? It was packed.
That's it. Mate, that's been doing my nutting, because I'm going, I don't remember this. I've watched it. I've got my straight and tear. I'm about 8 stone. Come out with my wee tassels and all that one. But I'm going, I've got no recollection of this happening.
Aye.
Because David Invincible was on it.
That was the first time we ran that place. And like later on, Ross and PBW started running that venue quite regular. But that was the first time that we'd ever seen there and wrestled there. And it was
aye.
Because but my first match was in there like 2 or 3 years before that, right? And there was like 10 folk in the crowd. And I just thought, when I turned back up for this charity show, I'm going, fuck, look at this place now. It was like everywhere, it's a 3 stories in it, and it was packed. What I remember that was Conscious he had invested in a cage, right, to fight Magic. And this was a Friday night, and then the Saturday night was a big cage match, and you know it'd been built up for about fucking 2 years now, because we had a show about every 3 months, so we built this up. And fucking Conscience breaks his leg in a Battle Royal the night before these big cage match. I always remember that.
But see this video, I've not watched all it, right? But it's one of the ones we all just came out at the same time, and whoever's MC's gone, we've got Alan Grogan and Invincible and Jack Jester, and we're all just walking behind each other. It's awkward, right? But the match, it says the match is only 5 minutes long, so it'll be a 5-minute 30-man like Battle Royal. But the entire time, Steps plays through the sound system for the entire match. For the entire match.
What song?
I don't know.
Tragedy.
Suddenly like a stranger, and I'm leaving you.
Sell.
Sell, Sakib.
Sell.
Dosey Don and all that. My boots scooting, baby, is true. The toss down elbow tap. Oof.
Hey boys, I'm going to just go to some of the listeners have been getting in touch with their memories and stuff like that as well. Gordon Brown got in touch, no the politician, I don't think. Said, I'll always remember the moment Joe Hendry came out singing Lionheart as a fanny. Lionheart completely buckled with laughter, hiding his face with a ring apron, trying to maintain his tough guy persona, but he was absolutely creased by it. One of the best laughs I've ever had attending an ICW show. Fraser Smith says he was a big fan. Sorry, what was that?
So that Lionheart as a fanny chant became wildfire. It just took over.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe Hendry wrote that and performed it, and the line is Lionheart as a fanny. Do you remember the second line?
No.
Liam Thompson has failed his degree. no one ever remembers this bit, but everybody remembered Lionheart as a fanny because it was a tag team match they were getting into against Lionheart and Liam. Lionheart as a fanny. Liam Thompson has failed his degree because Liam should have. It's got so many degrees. It should be called Liam degree.
I've got so many degrees. Mate, the best thing ever is when you send Liam out steaming, and it's just the greatest thing you'll ever see in your life because he's the most effortlessly funny guy, sober.
So
with
funny.
a drink in him, man. I've been on my knees punching the pavement, man, because he's
so
hilarious. He's so funny.
I don't know, like he's obviously not here to get away, but after the back of Joe Hendry bringing out the Lionheart as a fanny and the crowd absolutely eating it up, the next show, T-shirts on the merchandise, Lionheart as a fanny. Everybody, he's one of them, he's one of them.
Aye.
Everybody wearing them. Lionheart, he's in the ring, gone.
Yeah.
They're mad T-shirts.
He printed the T-shirts, he got them all set, he put them on the merchandise and he raked it in while making everybody call him a fanny.
And did he not do the Hogan thing where it was like Lionheart is still a fanny, or did he not release something else annoying?
Hero.
Fanny is a hero.
Yeah.
Lionheart is a hero, and that became the tune.
Kind of defined him, didn't it?
Anytime you hear it, you either think Trent Seven or Lionheart took over. He used it first, and then when Joe Hendry made that, Lionheart is a fanny. And it's a shame because you just hear it like the Kurt Angle tune in your head. It's you suck. It's just every time. Lionheart is a fanny, and God rest him, but he was our fanny. He was our fanny.
Aye, he was our fanny.
Yeah, but it was that. There was definitely that. I think it's a Scottish thing as well, though, isn't it? It's like he was this kind of like guy that kind of loved his cell and carried his cell like he loved his cell, right? And so people did kind of go, he's a bit of a fanny, this guy. There was that kind of vibe around him, you know what I mean?
It was endearing. It wasn't putting off because there was so many people that were fond of him, and I've been friends with him, and so is the boys for like 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we met him, other than Jester, we kind of clicked, but you did get to know him, and it was endearing. It wasn't too much that it put you off. You just kind of knew how to take him, and that.
But it's amazing because, like, as much as I say I didn't like him, like, obviously over the years, like, he became like one of my very best pals. We would text each other every single day. Like, I would hang out with him, he would hang out with me, and like we became like mega close. And we always found it weird that we went for just no, like it was a personality clash. Like it was never going to work. Right. And then our years, I was thinking this the other day, right? There was a talking about how he was always lying up. Right?
Sorry, buddy. I would never look at pictures of the two of yous. You know what I mean? And imagine that you would be that close. You know what I mean? You seem like quite different guys.
But that's the funny thing.
The way I would put it is a band can't have two frontmen, and these two guys were such big personalities. You couldn't be in the same room at one point. Like,
we're always competing with each other.
They're always.
But what happened is as well with like what'd you call him? Jackie Polo, for years they hated one another.
Aye.
And then they they became fucking great pals.
Aye. But it's like you're saying, Rab, if you look at it, it didn't make any sense. It'd be funny because if me and him went out together, you would have him dressed like I would say with his slacks on and his Skechers trainers. And I call it the official jacket, right? His leather jacket with the wee stripes on. And he had a t-shirt as well that was like white and it was ribbed.
Right.
And I used to call that.
He had a black version. He would answer it with the black version or the white version. And I know what you mean. They kind of like cut.
It was like his Full Metal t-shirt. I used to call it because it looked like that into the film.
Dallas calling him a mid-2000s metrosexual, and I went, that does actually sum up a wee bit. In the mid-2000s, you know what I mean? Lonsdale shoes, you know what I mean? Not that kind of carry on.
Anything with a Diamante Dragon, I'll have it.
You'd always pop up like black trousers, black shoes, white socks every time.
But we went through a long years and years of no talking to each other, and then it finally came to a head that we were nearly fighting backstage at East Kilbride because he made a comment and I just went off my nut, and I think I kind of went to get him, and Graham Mackay stopped me and went, just don't know the night. But words get back to him that I was angry, so he sent me this big long, proper. This is like. Word has get back to me.
It was famous.
And I will word has get back to me, and I will tell you now, and I will tell you once only. If you have a problem with me, you speak to me and me alone. And it was this big long, right? So I'm going, So, but we had a party the next night. I think it was Graham Mackay's 30th birthday. So I'm going, I'm not having this, man. And I'm not getting into a text war with him. So everywhere he went, I would walk into that room and he would leave. So if you went to the lounge, I'd go to, he'd go to the bar, he'd go to the toilet, I'd go and he'd go into the stuff. And we avoided each other all night, right? Just winding each other up. And we ended up in the sports cafe. So at this point, we're up steaming, right? And I went up and I went, listen, you've clearly got a problem with me. No, you have got a problem with me. I'm going, Adrian, I've been following you about all night trying to sort this out. And he's gone, well, I think the time and play. But he was drunk, right? And I went like, listen, I'll give you this one last chance. Shake my horn or don't. And I put my horn out and he went like that. And he slapped my horn away. Right? And I went, but he slapped my horn away and he went, just put me in for a cuddle, right? And he's gone, nobody has ever spoken to me like that. I was going, what is this being filmed?
Like he's in a film or something?
I'm right in the middle of the sports cafe and I'm going, what is going on here?
That
real people don't talk like this.
Is this being filmed? I've heard that said so many times. Like there was a time Drew McIntyre had came back from America and he hadn't seen Adrian for a long time, and Lionheart had developed a wee bit within Adrian, and he's started talking to him, and I don't know what the conversation was, but later on Drew says to me, I was just sitting there thinking, is there a camera on us or something? Like the way he was talking to you was just as if it'd been produced and rehearsed and written down before he got to you.
They talk like it. Aye, and it was just
so
like
unique.
Like I always say, like I constantly cringed and rolled my eyes and tried to avoid situations with him because I just knew what he was like. Right. But like at the time, I hated it, but I miss it now.
Aye,
like, I would date anything to let him give me a brass neck one more time.
Aye. I think when he was sitting listening to this, he would be into it. He would be sitting laughing at how much
I mean, does ever remember the story about when he met Dixie Carter and he shook her horn and pulled her in and went, Scotland needs a hero? What? I don't know if that got about in Scotland, but it certainly got out to all the boys in America. So much so that everybody, it became a rib. Everybody went, oh, fucking, if they went to like Texas, they'd go, Texas needs a hero. They use Lionheart's book. That got so much about all the locker rooms, such and such needs a hero.
He did. For a small time, TNA came over here to wrestle, and they put Lionheart on a pedestal, and they went, That was big. It was mega. Everybody was talking about it, and everybody got behind him.
I remember being at that TNA fan. It was some kind of TNA fan thing that was downstairs in, where was it in the Toon? Somewhere in the Toon, it was like downstairs. Jeremy Borash was there and all that.
That was mega, because nothing like that had ever happened.
And he was getting treated like a king.
None of the big companies had ever come near us and wanted to do anything with us.
He was there for the first.
One of our own was getting put on that platform with Jeff Jarrett. He's going to wrestle Jeff Jarrett, and everybody knows him, and it was so good. We all went to support him. It was great.
So it wasn't just the match either. Like Jarrett did like stuff prior to that, because I remember doing it the old like BCW/PBW, ISPWA, and Jarrett showed up and he did a thing with our filming, and he hit
with the guitar and all that.
It was put over like this kind of tryout thing, and there was a couple of wee kind of 5-minute matches. Me and Red Lightning had to put something together, and for us this was like a tryout. We thought we were getting a TNA tryout here, but it was all just to set up to be filmed for this. Jeff Jarrett had visited the school, and they were building towards him versus Lionheart, and he did. Just cracked him out of the damn.
How did that opportunity come about? Like, how did that happen?
Adrian was constantly reaching out to people and trying, like I said earlier, he was always wanting to succeed. He was always wanting to go further and better himself. And game is due. He was the first person to work with all the big companies. He was the first guy in Scotland to get a Ring of Honor world title shot against Nigel McGuinness. He was the first guy to get used by TNA, and he was the first guy to get used by the WWE out with Drew McIntyre. He done so much, and he was so driven to succeed. That's what made him so good.
One time, listen, pal, I was the first Scottish wrestler to get in England at £100. Remember that?
I spent it on sausage rolls the way in.
That's a big deal.
It was a big deal, but aye.
You don't get a lot of money in wrestling.
Aye.
You don't get into wrestling if you think you want to make money, because it's no there. You're lucky. When we started, you were lucky to get a tenner, £20. When you go £30, and you were on £30 for a long time after that,
Aye.
but when you reached £30, that was like top level.
I remember getting promoted to £30 with Ross. No one went, Ross is thinking about giving you 30.
Think about it. The amount of money that Grado must have been pulling in for these companies at the time, and he was getting £30 back.
Here, do you mind that gave you into trouble on the phone one time?
I always remember that.
I've gone.
Give £30 for it, you up for it?
No, but I've got this thing.
You wouldn't go down for a GR like that, hang set
I
again?
was like, Grado, stop doing this. Like at this point, like Grado, it sounds cheesy what I say, but Grado Mania really was running wild. But this is like the mega, where it was just everywhere, man. Everybody loved him, and then he was
every day somebody would come into my pub. Did you see Grado did this? Did you see Grado did that?
Like that.
The first household name.
At that point, nobody else existed, man. Like the full scene, you never heard about anybody else. Nobody asked you how you were doing. It was like when you used to go to school, like visit schools, and they go, "Do you know the Undertaker?" Like just that became, "Do you know Grado?"
Do you know what? You know what? I always got nervous at that point as well that Adrian would fucking be like, because he was always a guy, but Adrian.
Yeah, how did Adrian take to that? How did Adrian feel about that?
He was never, not once did he get jealous of me. Know that I know. He was always.
He was like you say, he was always the first. Anybody that got anything, he would be the first one to go up and congratulate you and
100%.
Shake your hand.
Not jealous at all. He would buzz for the other person, and that takes a lot.
Years. See all the people that were jealous of you back then, and all the folk that tried to put you down, and all the folk that went in and wrestled you and tried to make you look rotten and tried to do this. Like it's pathetic. You know what I mean? It shows you that the ones that did support you and the ones that were happy to go in and work for you and make you bigger. Because at the end of the day, all right, it was you that was getting all the push, but you were bringing folk in. These folk are moaning about you, but at the same time, that's why the venues were full. They're going out and they're wrestling in front of your crowd, but they'll still try and bring you down. But Adrian was your biggest fan, you know what I mean? And it's like, I think there's a bunch of us that kind of just got it, you know what I mean? And he was one of them. You know what I mean? Let's push this as the more folk that come in, the better it is for all of us, whether I'm wrestling Grado or not, or whether I'm beating Grado or not.
First person to put a heavyweight title on me as well. I remember buzzing after that with the PWE getting that big fucking NWA belt.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye, like he was good for that. He was good for. And he had a good foresight as well, where he would see something in somebody, and he would start planting the seeds before anybody else did. And you saw that with Noam and with Grado, and you know he was good. He put a lot of work into his shows and tried to make sure that you were getting as much as an entertaining show. He was very aware of. Like smart wrestling fans maybe watching it as well, so you would always get your big match that would tick that box. But aye,
a lot of wrestling careers are kind of discussed in the context of who their rivals were. Who was Lionheart's best rival? Who do you think? Who was his best?
Probably the biggest. It would be Jackie, wouldn't it?
I would say Jackie, man.
Aye.
I think Jackie.
For the platform that the two of them had, for the matches that the both of them had, and the draw that both of them had, you believed every word that was coming out of both their mouths, and you wanted to see this match.
They did not like each other.
Whether you supported Jackie or whether you supported Lionheart, it was so good for business at the time, and everybody was climbing on
it. Not
it.
one of them was going to back down. Like Jackie, I mean, Jackie doesn't care. Like of all the people that I've ever worked with, Jackie does not care. Like he'll go his own way. It doesn't matter anything. Adrian was the same, very, very stubborn, very proud. And the two of them just clashed, and that made it real. You know what I mean?
The good thing is the two of them were so professional. And I'll tell you a wee side story. The first match, the first big match that they were building to was Jackie Polo versus Lionheart at the Barras. And I don't know if it was Barramania or if it was Fear and Loathing, the one of them. But it was the first time we were in the Barras, and it was going to Lionheart against Jackie. Now, Lionheart broke his neck a long time before that, a few years before that, and he was terrified of taking this move. Aye. Absolutely, he would never go near it. But he was such a professional, and so was Jackie, that although they didn't get along, they trusted each other so much to go in there and create the best match possible for the fans. And it was brought up that maybe because everybody knew Adrian broke his neck with a Styles Clash.
Yeah,
and they knew as soon as you can pick him up for a power bomb, but as soon as he drops down and the fans see him getting set up, for a styles clash, then they know that's bad news. And that was real. That was real for Adrian. And he came up to me before the match as they were going. In fact, we were in the ring, and it had been suggested that he was going to take it, and he didn't say no. He didn't say no right away. He was thinking about it, and he was considering it. And he came up to me and says, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Look, here's the pros, here's the cons. Yes, it'll get a good reaction, but you genuinely should be wary of taking this move." And rightly so. It's ultimately down to you. And later on, I don't know if it was that match, but he did eventually take the styles clash or even tease for it, and that was a mega thing for him. But credit to him, because he could have easily just told Jackie no, not happening. But he knew how significant it would be. He trusted his opponent, and he was just such a professional.
It's that thing about giving the fans a special, giving the fans a special moment and putting the fans first. I mean, we've actually got a recollection here for one of the listeners saying, Stephen Roche saying Lionheart kicking out of the Styles Clash at one against Jackie Polo at Shug's House Party 5 night one. Do you guys remember the pop on that?
That's a moment, that's like that. As far as moments go, it's hard to get them now, because things move so quick, and I don't think enough time is given to feuds, and it's all very much let's get this done and move on to the next thing. But this came from a real life story, for a real life incident. Like Barry was saying, like Adrian was genuinely terrified of that move, and it was almost like PTSD. Like I've seen it. I saw him actually in the ring beforehand, getting into the position, and when he got done, it took him a couple of minutes. Like he would just need to sit in the corner. He was shaking and all that, because it's obviously
after that accident, you would relive that moment again and again and again, wouldn't you?
How scary! And the thing is, like, we're talking about how good a wrestler was Lionheart, how good a worker was Lionheart. The fact that he could come back for that and do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen folk who'll, they've blown their knee out and they'll do rehab, but when they come back, they're never the same because they're frightened in case they hurt their knee again. But that's your neck. Every single bump you take, every single strike to the back, every single headlock you take, the risk, you'd be terrified in case it happened again. But he came back and he somehow managed to kind of, draw a line under it and move on. But the Styles Clash, rightfully so, because that's what caused it, was always something that he had to battle. And again, the kind of person he is, I don't think he could have rested until he went out and did that move again. And it reminds me, today actually, it's Drew McDonald's birthday, and I heard a story years ago where he broke his back by taking a bale for the top rope to the floor, and had to get surgery and had to get his back all cut open and get told he would never wrestle again. And I think he came back. It was something, I might be getting this wrong, but he came back after, let's say, 6 months, and his first match back, he took the same move. Just to prove to himself that he could still do it. You know what I mean? And you get people like that. It's built into you where I'm not going to let this beat me. I'm not going to have this be the end of my confidence. And by doing it and getting it undone with, it took him a while to get the confidence to do it. But I think after he'd done that, it was a big achievement for him. And then that moment, like kicking out at one for the move that nearly retired you. You know what I mean? That's like, I've got goosebumps even thinking about it.
I know. It's beautiful.
It was real. It was real, and that's what made it so good, because everybody in the crowd felt it. They felt him taking the move. How, like, as soon as he got hooked up for that, there was a gasp. There was a breath taken as soon as he hit it, because
nobody wanted to see it. Nobody wanted to see him taking it. Why would you, if you're sitting in the crowd going, I hope you think that you're say this, you know what I mean? But people are going, no. And then for him to then kick out of that, like, You've went for I can't believe that's it. That's the finish. To be nowhere near the finish, like, come on, like that's the kind of stuff.
Instant euphoria, just emotion coming out of everybody.
Take your breath away. You know what I mean? And I think we've all been lucky enough to have a moment like that. But if you're backstage at the monitor seeing that, and if you can get the full backstage area to jump out their seats, if you can fool us, then imagine what it must be like to have bought a ticket to come and watch that.
See, that's the thing. Adrian was the master of creating emotion in people, and he would hit out with so many different surprising moments and things that would get genuine reactions for people. Like the time he pretended to break his neck against Kenny Williams.
Oh, that was amazing.
In Edinburgh. And he took a move or something, and he lay still and didn't move for ages, and everybody in the crowd, like, just it was horrible. The wind was taken away from us. We were all watching it. Some people knew what he was up to, but paramedics came down and everything. And if you don't know the story, you need to go back and watch it. But he's a bastard. Like he had everybody convinced he'd hurt himself, and everybody was feeling sorry for him. And then not only did he just get up, but he nipped up his feet, like right onto his feet, straight into a super kick on Kenny, covered him 1, 2, 3, and that was it. The bastard was born. Lionheart is a fanny after all. Like, we thought he was a hero, but no, how dare you do that to us? But he knew these were the buttons to push. And
but there was definitely as well, there was a moment when that was kind of run about the time where I kind of noticed that suddenly Lionheart was getting pretty fucking cool for people, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I remember that.
The music as well, man.
That music.
I mean,
he loved it.
He loved it.
He would play it. Like, I can't listen to my own entrance music, even when Hungry Like the Wolf comes on with Duran Duran. I sometimes can't listen to it properly because it's been your entrance music. And I don't imagine Grado sits and listens to Like a Prayer.
Aye, he does. Aye, he fucking does.
But lockdown in that,
Adrian would drive about with it blaring out his window. Say my name, I'm history.
Shades on, Erno Indy like that.
I loved it. He lived the lifestyle, and he just loved being a superstar.
Right, let's get a few more Lionheart moments for the punters out there. Fraser Smith says, "I really liked Lionheart on Rogue to Wrestler. Showed the type of trainer you want, and that he wanted the Rogues to do what they could do well, and that he spurred them on to try harder." How did he take to filming Rogue to Wrestler? What we got in the show the real Adrian, or was that just for telly? Lee,
no, I mean it was, but at the same time there was an extent of Adrian, like, you know, I want to be the hard-faced coach here. Like, he wanted to be the Gordon Ramsay.
Again, that veteran vibe that he gave it, right?
Like, and I was very much the same, because like when this happened, it was like I know that we're no the producers of the show and we're not doing this, but it has to be our rules because
BAFTA nominated, by the way.
BAFTA nominated. But we don't, like, when we wrestling stuff, it's so easy for it to come across as a joke, and you know, and their ideas, they go, what about doing this? I'm going to get, from a TV perspective, what you're talking about, but anything that happens within this training facility, we're the boss. If you want to take them out and do challenges, you know, the open top bus or the comedy club and all that, that's fine. But in here, you know, we're doing it this way. I'm not just going to have them do big moves because it's good for the camera, and they need to be taught the way we would do any class. But of course, at first, you know, the first day you're there, Adrian's like, you know, I want to intimidate every one of these. And if you watch it, it's pure him. Like, the whole thing, like, we'd all have taken our turn to talk, and then it's Adrian's turn. Pure eyeball on everybody, and I was going, this guy again talk. And then, like with the thing where, like, he kept trying to body slam one of the guys, and he kept holding onto his neck. And eventually, he was like, did that again, I'll fucking smash you. But that was real, because he was getting frustrated. But then, over time, we filmed for a month constantly with that, and you start to, you know, make connections with these people.
Brilliant show, by the way, brilliant show.
And it was, I loved it. I mean, I was so proud of it. And then obviously for the training aspects, if you then watch the footage for Shugs when they went out and did the re-showcase, you know, the hard face Adrian was gone by that point, and he was proud of them. You know what I mean? Because we sat there, and me and him were terrified, because we're thinking, if this just falls on its arse, then we don't have a culmination of this show. And it worked well, you know. But he was very much, you know, he was very, very serious about it. But I think it worked because we kind of had the good cop, bad cop aspect. You know, like, for example, when me and Grado did the bit in George Square, we could do that because me and him could have a laugh at that, and I wasn't worried about showing that side of me, whereas Adrian wanted to be, you know, like Gordon Ramsay, like I'm saying, like Marco Pierre White. He wanted folk to be intimidated and frightened.
He was like the expert. He was like,
you know, I'm going to stand here and make you do this, and then that's why, like, he'd be in the ring, I would stand on the outside, so when they rolled out, I could kind of, you know, put their mind at rest and go, listen, you'll get it. Don't worry too much about it. He's just getting stressed out, and he's like that. And you know, if it shouts at you, don't worry about it. He's doing it for the right reasons. Because I didn't want folk to go, I'm not doing this anymore. Because we need to remember, these folk didn't pay to come and do this. This wasn't their dream. Like, we had to.
No, and they could easily just chuck it. They could easily just walk away.
We could have been 2 days in, and all 8 of them go like, no way. You know what I mean? So both of us working together, you know, I think made the show what it was. But it's one of the things that and for me as well, selfishly, I'm glad that it happened because I'm always going to have that.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Like I've not been able to watch it back yet, but there's going to come a time where I'll be able to sit and watch it and you know, smile about it. But any time that I you know, I think a lot of things slip through your memory, but I've always got that I can sit and watch back and remember what happened when the cameras went off, or like the finale of that show. Like we were dying with a hangover because it was Shugs the night before, and we'd all went out and stayed up all night, and and it was just like you can see Adrian stunning. He's got like a bright green t-shirt on, and we're sitting down the boss and banter board, and he's just gone, I want this to finish now. Like, get me out of here, man. Like, because he'd had to be in his bed now. But it's all the wee things, but it was a great experience filming it. And obviously, people keep asking, is it
it's brilliant doing that kind of stuff with your pals as well, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, it's that again. Like I say to Dallas as well, me, Dallas, and him. That's our wee thing that we're always going to have that. You know what I mean? And folk asking if it's coming back and all that. You never know. It could, but then obviously it would need to be different because it's not going to be a case of just bring in another coach and you know it's our show, so it would need to be different. But it was very much that's what you get. That's Adrian as a coach. You know what I mean? That is what he was like.
Robert Gillen got in touch saying that what he remembers is attending PWE shows with his son, and Adrian was always around and smiling and chatting with all the kids and parents. The events were obviously family shows, but it felt like a family gathering. I've mentioned it before, says Robert Gillen, but he suggested to Grado to put the belt on Mrs. McCallum at the event following his passing, and Grado doing it was awesome. Certainly helped him recover for Kerry and Grado run the venue earlier.
I mean, I remember that, man.
That's the kind of recollection I like, a nice emotional recollection, a wee bit of slagging off a Grado as well at the end as well.
You did have to
and for a wee dig.
But that was really emotional because I didn't think about it. It was, if it was Robert that's saying that he done it, he just, when I was walking around and clapping horns, obviously I'd done pointed the sky and all that, but he pulled me in and says, get to Adrian's mum. And I went, you know what, I'm going to do that. And obviously I jumped the bar, and obviously she hates the attention. Or she's going, don't bother. And I'm like, put it on her. And it was really, I'm getting goosebumps again thinking about it, but everybody stood up in the room and clapped. And it was a really emotional moment.
So I remember you came back and you were quite worried about it because you're going, I don't know if there's anything there. Like, they're actually going to be annoyed that I gave it to her. She's going to be annoyed that I didn't run it past them. Like, no, I mean, she's not going to like the attention, but it was a lovely thing to do. You know what I mean? It was. I think for that as well, it was the last PWE show. And as much as the match and all that would have been great and had a good night, just that one wee thing, you know what I mean? It's like, it closes after the professional aspect of that show. And also, like, you're handing the belt to her, like, you know, this is yours now.
Aye. Like, so thanks to Robert for that.
Aye, that was a good moment.
A couple more memories. Let's see. Stephen Roche again talking about Oran War, Lionheart versus Noam. I think everyone left there that night saying it was the greatest match Scottish wrestling had held. British wrestling had ever produced. What do you reckon, guys? We've spoken about that. Derek Johnston says the heat he could draw was superb. A big loss to British wrestling, but pretty certain some of his mates will only go on to make him proud. And we get Paul here saying he was the guy you love to hate, absolute prick in the ring, and such a nice guy outside the ring. And I mean that in the kindest way possible. He always took time out his day to say hello at shows. Me and my pal were in Orlando for Mania in 2017 at an Evolve show, and Harto walks through the entrance and took time to say hello to us. Bear in mind he was on his holiday as well. His feud with Jackie Polo and their matches were some of the best in the history of ICW. And the first match at Barramania is one of my favourite matches I've ever seen live. Whether you thought he was a hero or a fanny, you had to respect him. What would you say his career? What would you say his career highlight was?
Winning the ICW heavyweight title at the Hydro against Jackie Polo. Taking the title. That was it, because it was the one title that always eluded him, and he always chased it. And before he retired in 2012, he was always chasing the ICW heavyweight title, and he just couldn't get it, and it would eat away at him over and over. And he did everything in his power. He wasn't one of.
Barry, I need to be honest here, right? Sorry to butt in, but I need to be honest here. You know, for as much as Adrian used to say believe all the time, I didn't believe, because I remember thinking to myself, there's no way Adrian's going to be ICW champion. I don't see that happening down the line, you know what I mean? Because this was before that big turnaround, Lionheart as a fanny, Lionheart becoming this kind of cool heel and all of that, you know what I mean? So I didn't envision it happening. So was it an amazing reversal? Really,
it wasn't anything to do with his work, because he was one of the best in the ring.
Yep.
On the microphone, he was one of the best. He could draw a crowd, but he just wasn't ever able to reach out and grab the ICW World Title. And that last run, leading into him going into the Hydro and winning the ICW World Heavyweight Championship, that was probably maybe some of his best work. And he dragged everybody into that building to support him, and everybody believed right then that he was going to win the title that night. And that would have been one of the biggest reactions that he ever got. And the sense of achievement that he must have felt being able to get that, because that was never handed to him.
And he wasn't a natural ICW guy, really, was he? He didn't.
He wasn't one of Dallas's guy. He was never one of Mark Dallas's guys. And all through the Gold label and everything Lionheart did, he would never stand side by side with Dallas. And they go on, they were professional with each other. It's not as if they weren't pals, they were pals. But when Mark Dallas seen ICW, Lionheart wasn't quite what that was. Aye. So Lionheart had the hardest job out of anybody that held that title, between Drew holding it to Jester, myself, and Joe Coffey, and everybody that's ever held that title. The person that had to work the hardest to win that heavyweight championship and was Lionheart. So that has to go down as his best.
It's a testament to him, because you're saying, Rab,
it's only quality that can do that, innit? If your face doesn't quite fit, then it's only quality that can get you over that hump, innit? Really.
You said you never saw it in the future, and I don't think many folk did, but he knew that was what he wanted. Aye. So not only to get it, but to go on to headline the Hydro and win it there. That was all him. He built that.
To get it as a fan favourite, to get the pop for winning it.
He created all that, and he was very very hands-on, to the point of being annoying with the management. He was constantly, this is my idea, and I need to do this, and I'm not doing that. This is my run, and it's going to happen the way I want it to happen.
Aye.
And they let him, and it worked, and he got that big moment, and that's all he'd ever wanted. And he took it seriously, and I'm just it doesn't matter where you won it, but I'm so glad that he managed to win it at the Hydro, because that was a stage fitting for a person like Lionheart.
That's going to be somebody's memory. Some kid is going to grow up remembering the time they went to the Hydro with their family in the scene.
It's over 18s, was it not?
16s. When they grow up, they're going to be able to tell somebody, when I was a teenager between 16 and over.
Between 16 and over?
Between 16 and whatever else. I went to see the ICW, and Lionheart walked away with the World Heavyweight title.
And that's a cool thing to be able to say.
Aye, that is.
One of the things that made me feel most kind of sad and regretful after it happened was that I wish he'd have been able to see the reaction after he passed away. I wish he'd been able to see,
The Rock,
man, Jericho. Aye. Like I wish he had seen that, because the Adrian that I knew would have loved that. You know what I mean? He would have loved that, and it's that's just one. What did you make of it? Like just that period afterwards?
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible. And like you're saying, he would have loved it, and that's the thing that makes it. I just think that's the thing that makes it all just a wee bit harder. Is the fact that, I think everybody that's ever been through an experience like this, you ask the same questions, if only he'd known, and if only this, and if only that, and it's all too late, and it's so final, like, and I still do it, I think obviously things get easier as I can talk about them without getting upset, and I can remember things, and I can, have a laugh and stuff, but it's just, it's one of the things that's never going to end, because you just think, if only he'd known. And again, it's like, he would have loved all this stuff, but then by saying he would have loved it, it doesn't sit right with me, you know what I mean? Because you think, I shouldn't be able to say that.
Aye, we shouldn't be doing this show. Really.
No, I shouldn't be doing this, and I shouldn't be having to plan my day on Friday, because it's his anniversary on Friday. And I'm really nervous about it, and I know that some of the other boys are, because I don't know how I'm going to, I'm starting to kind of get a bit anxious about it, because as much as I know that I'm a lot better than I was a year ago. Like the other day, the ICW posted up a photograph of him when he won the double championship, and I'm like, it's because it's a landmark. That was his last ever wrestling match.
Aye.
And it was just a punch to my stomach, because I woke up and it was the first I was flicking through Facebook, And I was away again. I was like in hysterical crying. It's not even like I've got a tear. Like now and again, I'll kind of get a wee bit kind of shaky if I hear a song or something that reminds me of him.
Aye.
But then, like sometimes like that, it's like that's the first time I've like sobbed in months. And I'm going, fuck. Like if I'm doing this now, what is Friday going to be like? And I think that's why Friday we all need to, band together and support each other just like we did when it first happened. Because as much as that we shouldn't be talking about this and this shouldn't have happened and we shouldn't be doing this. The fact is, and the truth, and the fact is, we are, and it's shite. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I can try and put it eloquently, but it's just shite. And it's
the only good thing, like obviously, there's nothing positive about it, but like, at the time, the sense of community and the bond that everybody came together to support each other, and like as soon as I heard about it, I would contact the next person, and it was just a wee tree of like just
everybody looked at each other. And
I'll tell you one thing that really got to me. It was the day that it happened and we found out. Obviously, people had had the phone calls, but I opened my flat up to people, and everybody came up here. And because we don't see each other for a good 4 hours, we were drinking and talking and all that, and it was almost like we forgot why we were there. Like we forgot why we were all together. And it was a laugh, and we were joking and getting food and drinking and getting drunk and all that. And then, like, the thought came into my head, like, I was, where is he?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because at any party, he would be there, and I would text him going, "When are you getting there?" And it's almost like I reached for my phone to see where he was, and then I realised, fuck, this is why we're here. You know what I mean? And it's wee things like that get you all the time, but it's just I can't put it into words. It's a terrible. Because
obviously we've all been very professional tonight, and we're kind of talking about like all reminiscences and doing what you're kind of supposed to do on a special episode of a wrestling podcast where you're remembering a guy's career. But fundamentally we're talking about like a pal who should still be here, who should be on this show and talking about the thing, because he would be talking about the things he's planning today. He would have had all sorts of plans and. And it does. I think that's. I think you know to end this on a downer, but it is a thing for people to take away is that it's a year later, and it's still just one of the greatest tragedies I think that's happened in our scene. You know what I mean? Just one of the greatest tragedies, and for all the talk he can do about his legacy, as a great one, and he's had some great moments, and he's always going to be remembered. It's still, it's still a tragedy, and there's still a lot of people recovering. You know what I mean? Fair.
It'll take a long time, I think, Rab. It's just you get better. Like the difference in us now a year ago is incredible. And then you think next year, like hopefully things get better, but it's never going to be easy.
The thing is,
he's always going to be missed. But the good thing is, because of who he was and because he was known and because he was such a character, I don't think there's ever been like a space of a few days go by where I don't talk about him or somebody doesn't talk up to me about him, so that's kind of healing as well, because he's still here. You know what I mean? Like he's still just as in conversation now as he would have been if he was physically here. And it's a good thing, being able to talk about him and us as pals, the type of people we all slag each other off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's just because he's not here anymore. Doesn't mean that he's going to escape that.
and it helps that he was this kind of big, confident, cocky, swaggering guy, because you imagine he'd be fucking looking at this and laughing, didn't you? You can visualise that, and it does help, doesn't it?
He'd be basking in it, the fact that we're all taking time out of our day to sit and talk about him and him alone, and you know what I mean? He'd be sitting there shirtless.
Right.
He's toast, he's scone warming up in the oven, you know what I mean? So the butter melts just right.
Boys, thanks so much for joining us for this. I know it is still a difficult thing to talk about, and I hope Friday's all right for you. You know what I mean?
So Friday, Kenny Williams has organised a massive 16k run in order of the 16 years that Lionheart competed in the wrestling industry in Scotland. So he's already he set a target of £500. He's already absolutely smashed that, because he's been getting donations for the likes of Jester, myself, Grado. Everybody's putting something in to raise money for the charities that Kenny's set up. And Jester and I are going to try a wee bit of Jester. Grado, I don't know if you want to kind of come along and do a bit, but
aye.
There's no way I can run 16k. That's just under 10 miles I'm built for bursts of power and speed and aggression. I don't go long
I'm
distance.
built for walking slow.
But I can't sit and let this go by without doing my part. So I'm going to at least try and do some of it. I'm definitely going to do it. And I know I'm sitting here being all romantic and going, oh, this and that. But I know I'm going to be absolutely cursing him on Friday. When I'm halfway along the Broomy Law and my knees are exploding. We'll be singing to each other.
You're like when folk roll. Barry, start singing slower. 2.5 hours.
Everybody, do your bit, because it's a great way of remembering them and all chipping in and try to make something good out of such a bad thing. And keep sharing your memories and all that, because it's...
Post your memories, because we'll be doing the same Friday.
This has been great to be on. It's very therapeutic.
Let's fill social media away.
Well, social media could use a wee bit of positivity.
Exactly.
Now.
Absolutely.
It's been a tough place. But
well done to Kenny for sorting all this up, by the way. That's really good. We'll need to get Wrestling Daft to retweet this and get the message out there. Yeah. So we're definitely behind that. It's brilliant for Kenny to do that.
Right, cheers, boys. We'll let you go.
Cheers,
we'll let you go and go with your night. Thanks a lot, right, for jumping in.
No bother.
And you punt your podcast again.
My podcast?
Aye.
If you want to watch any of the stuff I've been up to, I've been carrying a GoPro for the last years, and I actually caught the last match that myself, Rudo, Jester and Lionheart had together. And it's on my wee YouTube channel. It's Out a Wee Run.
What's it called, your YouTube channel?
Out a Wee Run. I think it's called Out a Wee Run.
Out a Wee Run?
Or you'll just I think the episodes are called Out a Wee Run, but you'll just find me for Wolfgang. Go on my Twitter or my Facebook or my Instagram. I've got links to everything on there.
Our listeners are following you. Our listeners are following you anyway on Twitter.
And of course, don't forget 8 o'clock every Sunday night. Anti-social distancing, where you can sit and listen to what
every Sunday night.
There we go. What we've had for our dinner.
Brilliant.
Just generally
watch films. Have any of you ever watched the Goodfellas?
Love it.
Aye.
That's this week's movie. We've not seen it. We need to watch it.
I've seen the pizza. Oh, right, guys. That's
enjoyed this.
Thanks very much. Appreciate that.
So much.
Cheers, guys.
Couple more. Let's do a couple more wee reminiscences before we go. Thanks to the boys for joining us there. Dean Watterson says, go to see him wrestle RVD and Zach Gibson, and then win the world title at the Hydro the following year. After the match, he jumped the barrier and went up to what I assume was his Monda. My brother and I were sitting a row behind and witnessed the full thing. What a moment. Sean says, always a classy guy. After PWE shows, Adrian would be at the door, sweat dripping off him, shaking hands and saying thanks for coming. Seeing him bombing about Ayrton and saying, all right, Harto, and getting a handshake was always a pleasure. He was always also the first guy in the business that called me brother. I like to think I played it cool, but it was marking out internally big time. Grado handing off the PWE belt to his mom had me fighting back tears. Miss you, Harto. Well, that's it for our very special episode of Wrestling Daft. Thanks so much to Wolfgang and Jester for joining us. And Grado, thanks to you always as well.
Thank you, mate.
Always as well.
It was really good. And as I say, I think the boys really enjoyed coming on here and getting off their chest. You know how passionate they were telling their stories. And I think it was good, especially because it's the year anniversary for them to come on here and talk about Adrian. I think it probably did, as Barry says, it was kind of therapeutic.
It's nice to talk about that stuff. And well, that's it. And I hope you enjoyed, folks, just hearing some of the stories for some of the guys that knew him best. So here's to you, Adrian, a champion in the ring and a champion in life. I'm sure if we're lucky, we'll see you down the road somewhere.